study finds taking too many fish oil supplements may not be as good for you as you think.
Yeah, that's right. It can actually increase the risk of certain diseases. And here to explain the study is our 9 News medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, to tell us a little bit more about what this study found about fish oils. Good morning, Dr. Kohli.
Good morning, guys. Do you take fish oils or?
I used to.
I was about to say I used to as well, but not anymore.
Well, save that money.
Oh, very interesting.
So what's the deal with this study?
Yeah, so the study actually explored something that we've known for quite some time, which is that over-the-counter fish oils may not necessarily be good for you, may actually be bad for you. So it looked at 415,000 UK citizens, middle-aged, about a third of them taking fish oils, followed them for 12 years. And what they found is if you're healthy and you take fish oils, it can actually cause harm. It can increase your risk of stroke by 5% and increase your risk of arrhythmia, a cardiac problem called atrial fibrillation, by 13%. On the other hand, if you have heart disease, it can actually be good for you. So it really depends on where you're coming from, whether or not you might benefit from fish oils.
So where did the notion that fish oils were good for you even come from?
Yeah, it's been cooking for a while, and it came from the right places. Because if you think about the heart-healthy diets, it's the Mediterranean diet, right? That's a diet rich in fish.
Right.
We also had some observational studies a couple of decades ago where some people took fish oil, some didn't, and the ones that took fish oil did better. But they were probably doing other things as well that were making them healthier. And so when we did randomized studies, meaning everything was the same except the fish oil was the only difference, we found actually no benefit and we found some harm.
So help us link these two together. Why would over-the-counter fish oils cause harm?
So many reasons for that. So first, it's a biologically active substance, right? It changes the electricity, the way that it moves in the heart. So that's why it can increase your risk of that arrhythmia called atrial fibrillation. Second, it's not pure. The FDA doesn't regulate these supplements. So when you're buying a fish oil pill, it's probably got 70 different things in it or more.
Right.
Many of those oils can actually spoil sitting on the counter. They can oxidize and spoil. And some of them are actually saturated fats. They're oils. So they can even raise your cholesterol. So it's just a mixture of all these different things. That's what's causing the harm. And you can have impurities like mercury and other toxins in those supplements as well.
How interesting. So as a heart doc, do these have any role in heart disease prevention at all?
Yeah, so it's funny because patients come in on over-the-counter fish oils that tell them stop, save your money. But prescription fish oils, which are highly purified versions, I'm writing prescriptions for those in some of my heart patients because they have been shown to reduce cardiovascular events, heart attacks, strokes, and cardiovascular death. The other interesting thing about this is, like I said, it's not a one-size-fits-all for everyone, so it depends on where you start. So if you look at the US population, where we don't eat as much fish as they do in Japan, we have lower baseline levels of fish oils in our blood, like EPA and DHA. We don't do as well. We benefit more from getting fish oils as opposed to a Japanese population that starts out at a higher level. So a lot of people are now saying, maybe we ought to be checking everybody's fish oil levels to try to understand where they're starting to see if they might benefit.
How would you do it? With a blood test?
That's a blood test.
Okay.
It's a simple blood test. It's available already. It's just something that the guidelines haven't really picked up. We haven't been doing sort of uniformly.
And I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier. You talked about that Mediterranean diet. So are there other dietary sources of these healthy fish oils? What can we eat to get those oils from a healthy standpoint?
Right. So rather than popping the pills, I say work on your diet. Don't go to Costco, don't go to Amazon, don't get fish oils from there, but instead work on wild-caught salmon. So that's a great source, as opposed to farm-raised salmon, which can have a lot of mercury, tuna, mackerel, anchovies, so those types of fish. But you can even get it from products like soybeans, from walnuts, from other types of chia seeds. So seeds and nuts can also be a healthy source of many of these omega-3s that are generally heart healthy. And that way your body can kind of regulate what it needs to. You're not getting impurities. You're getting the good stuff.
It naturally processes itself.
That was going to be my question, because if someone's sitting at home and they're like, well, I take omega-3s, which can be different than just a fish oil.
Right.
Same thing applies with those?
So mixed omega-3s, same problem. They don't reduce cardiovascular risk. Now, sometimes we'll use them again as a prescription to reduce triglycerides, but you really, if you're thinking of taking a fish oil or omega-3 or any other type of supplement for your heart, you want to talk to your doctor. Now, here in Colorado, for our eyes, it's really beneficial. So I have a lot of patients who I say, okay, I'll put up with the extra bump in cholesterol or risk of arrhythmia because it's really good for dry eyes. So certainly it helps.
But you're going to compromise somewhere else for sure within your diet.
Right. So don't take it unless you talk to your doctor or there's a really compelling reason like your eyes or something.
Good to know all these things that we're told are healthy. Be careful.
I know.
Yeah.
Dr. Kohli, as always, thank you so much. And you can find all of Dr. Kohli's appearances at 9news.com/Dr. Kohli.